What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, good.
Good. All right. What's the word? What brings you to the neighborhood?
So you told me to be wrong?
Right.
This was in the neighborhood.
Right on.
I heard about that moment on the podcast.
Oh, you watched it, huh? It's pretty off the hook, huh?
Yo, like I said, I gotta get the story.
All right. I got something for you.
All right.
So basically, the beginning of Scot Mendelson was, it was a rough patch. I had no father. You know, he left me, called me when I broke my first world record. And like a lot of you people out there, you know, struggled in that part, wished you had that father figure to kind of push you in that direction. And I didn't have none. Matter of fact, when I had kids, I didn't even have anything to reference to. So it was like being a father myself was like, you know, being in the dark kind of making choices and going through it and having to learn it for the first time instead of going through it when you're a child. So, but, so yeah, I was in gangs and, you know, I sold drugs and, you know, I was poor. So I had to, you know, make my ends, you know what I mean?
Right.
So one of my boys almost killed this guy and I got picked up for it and I didn't snitch him off because, as you know, the code.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing 3.5 years in prison for it. And they put me in youth authority. I was in YTS, I was in NorCal and SoCal, and I was up in Preston. And, you know, for all you people that have been in that situation, you know the exact places I'm talking about. Ended up in Ventura in the end. But, you know, going through that kind of situation was very difficult, and that's what made me a man. You know what I mean? Some people got their armed forces or whatever you go through, and God bless you people.
Right.
But that wasn't my speed. You know, I got thrown away, and you know, I was on this bus, all handcuffed and foot cuffed down, and I was going up to this receiving center in Northern California, and there was this Indian dude sitting next to me, and he's telling me all this crazy ass shit, how there's rules, you know, you can't smoke after a black guy and drink after a black guy, can't sell with a black guy, and like everything's all segregated. And, you know, if anybody ever tries to run you on a mission, the mission is basically they send you out to beat somebody's ass or stab them or kill them or whatever. You turn into a soldier, you know. So he's telling me all this shit. I'm cuffed. I'm freaking 16 years old, you know. And I get up there and go through my whole thing. And I go to my first place, which was YTS, and I'm sitting there. And I roll up, and there's this dude, and he's looking at me. He's like, I'm like,
What?
I'm like, me? You know? He's like, yeah. So I roll over, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, how you doing? He's like, good. And we start talking, and, you know, he looks at me and he goes, so are you down for your shit? And I'm like, am I down for my shit? Yeah, I'm down for my shit. And he's all, well, why don't you show me? And there was a couple of like gay dudes in the front that like had knots in their shirts and shit, you know. And he goes, why don't you fuck that dude up right there and show me how, you know, how badass you are. I want to see. And I'm thinking about the fucking Indian on the bus, you know, and I'm like, what the fuck? I thought this shit was like fake. Like this dude was telling me like a movie, you know? And I get up, he's sitting down in this chair, and I go, hey bro, are you running me on a mission? And he's all, yeah. I'm just like, boom, and I start fucking this dude up. I'm there like 15 minutes, and I get locked down for 3 days. So they send me to the parole board, and they're like, Mr. Mendelson, you just got here, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, what, you know, what do you want me to tell you, you know? So a few days later, I get out, and I get back to the unit, and everybody's walking up to me, all the white boys, and they're like, what's up? What's up? I'm like, what the are you talking about? What's up? What's up? They're like, well, you know, you just got in a fight with homeboy, and he was rolling shots for the whites.
Wow.
And now you're the man. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even want to be involved. I just want to do my time, you know what I mean? So I was like, dude, I ain't rolling. So I'm lifting in the weight pit one time, and I'm walking through this doorway into the building, and he sent a mission out on me. So I walk through the door and they had these big metal chairs. Homeboy hits me in my face with the chair and knocks 2 of my teeth out. So I'm like dazed. I roll on them and I'm trying to do what I can, and they mace the out of me. They're like, hey, I look up and I got shit coming out of every hole in my body. And they lock me down again, you know. So I'm in lockdown, and they bring me to the parole board again. I'm like, Mr. Mendelson, you know, and I'm like, what the So there's this one big ass dude there, and he goes, so you want to press charges? And I was like, yeah, I don't give a So he looks around, there's like 10 people on the parole board, 15 people on the parole board. He's all, everybody get the out. So everybody gets up, they roll out, and he kind of walks up to me and he's like, so Mr. Mendelson, you want to press charges? And I was like, yeah, I don't give a I don't even know who that motherfucker is, you know?
Right.
And he's like, well, let me roll it down to you how it's gonna happen. You're gonna press charges, and everybody's gonna know that you're a snitch. And all the prison people write letters to each other. It's like an organized system throughout the prison system. And you're gonna fall what's called leva, which is like lame, which is like scum of the earth, you know what I mean? You're not even accepted by your own race no more. He said, so I'm gonna ask you again, you wanna press charges? And I was like, absolutely not. So I roll back, and there's this like pool table room with a washer and dryer in it. Everybody did their own laundry back in there. And homeboy's in there, and he looks at me, and he's all, and I was like, you know what, this. So I rolled up to him, sock him in his face. He had long blonde hair, so I wrap his hair in my arm, and I got him against the washer. Boom, boom, boom. I'm beating his ass. And my YA number was 48850, which you never forget your number. It's like part of you, you know.
Right,
this is
right.
20 years ago, 30 years ago. And he's like, 48850. And I look up, they mace me in my fucking face. I'm hitting this motherfucker, boom, and I can't see. So every other hit, I'm bing, hitting the washer, fucking this dude up. And, you know, the guards roll in, there's 4 guards. So each guard gets on my legs and my arms, so I'm up in the air. I got him in a fucking headlock with his hair wrapped around, and I'm socking him in the face. And there's a guard here on my legs, so there's 4 of them holding me in the air, and I'm socking this motherfucker up. And finally they get us apart, and they lock me down. So I go back to the parole board again, and they're like, so what are we gonna do, Mr. Mendelson? And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill this motherfucker. That's what's gonna happen. It's either me or him, and I'm alive, trust me.
Right.
This motherfucker's dying. So they shipped him out, and then next thing you know, I was running shots for the whites, you know what I mean? But I was in the weight pit all the time, and you know, when I got there, this is like 1985, and when I get there, none of the white dudes lifted weights, so I was lifting weights with all the black guys, so I became like best friends with them. And everybody knows the rules and shit. They all respect each other and shit. And I was friends with, you know, Bloods and Crips, rolling 20s and 60s, and Fruitown Blood and Grape Street, everybody. So I got to really know a lot of these guys, you know. And one time I'm talking to this dude, and he's saying, yeah, you know, I was, you know, selling some shit on a corner, and these fools came by and they gadded me up, and I was like, so where'd they shoot you? Homeboy lifts up his shirt, and there's like 20 bullet holes across this motherfucker. And he's like, yeah, and this other dude's like, yeah. Then I was in this other hood, and you know, they raped my girl, and they killed her right in front of me, and then, you know, they shot me, you know? And I'm like, well, they shot you. I go, I see this little mark like right here on his chin, you know, on his jaw. And I'm like, they shot you in the jaw? He goes, no, and he turns his head. They shot me here, and it came out here.
Wow.
So they left him for dead, you know what I mean?
Right.
So back in the 80s, I mean, the drug trade, you know, it was way gang related, way more gang related than it even is today. But there was more killing, and it was more treacherous. You know, back in the 80s was like the Wild West. Right. You know what I mean? So, you know, I go through all that, and I end up getting out, and, you know, I started lifting weights. If I didn't go to prison, you know, everybody's got their military or whatever, I wouldn't be Scot Mendelson today. Wow. You know what I mean? So, you know, I started lifting with the riot response squad in there because I was benching 600 pounds at 17 years old.
600 pounds.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, a bench has always just been a gift to me. It's always been my love, you know what I mean?
Right.
So the guys in the riot squad, they were all retired NFL football players, and they came up to me and they're like, you know, why do you look like you don't belong here? And at first I'd be in, they're like, oh, what'd you do? Oh, I didn't do it. Sure, none of us did it. We're all fucking innocent. So I was like, whatever. I just got sick of it, and I was like, yeah, I did it, whatever. But so I started lifting with all these dudes in like a real weight room instead of just, you know, pig iron, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how I got my start. And when I got out, I just kept running with the weights. I knew that something in my life was going to be with the weights, you know what I mean?
Right.
So thank God. I mean, you know, everybody's got their course. And when I was in, you know, sometimes you go through things in life and you're like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? And I don't know if you guys believe in God. I'm not Mr. Super religious or nothing, but I know there's something up there, and I know that puts you on your path. And, you know, you got to have the strength to either turn left or right when you need to. You know, fortunately, I was able to get out of it through weightlifting, and that's really what got me in the direction of, you know, turning me into Scot Mendelson and, you know, making a positive out of a negative. And, you know, everybody's got these times in life where, dude, you're just in hell, bro. Right. You're in hell and you don't know what to do and you're in this trap, you know? But you gotta understand, there's a saying that I go by. And what that saying is you need to die and go to hell. And then you need to make hell your heaven. Right. And if you can do that in any situation, you can get a positive out of it. And that's what it's all about. You know, no matter how hard it is and no matter how up your life is and what kind of situation you're in, you know, always remember that you're alive and you got your health. And you know what, even if you're doing prison for 20 years, you know, you just keep going and you keep getting positive, and when you get out, you make something out of your life. Prove all these motherfuckers wrong. Prove everybody wrong that you can be a productive person and be proud of yourself when you look in the mirror. You know, if I look in the mirror, if I died right this second, which I don't want to, I think I got a little left in the basement, you know what I mean? But when I look at myself, I don't regret anything that I've ever done in my life. I'm proud of myself, and I know that everything I've done, like if I could take a USB cord and put it from my head to your head, you would just be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Just like crazy ass shit, man. So, you know, that's just really the message, what I want to tell all you motherfuckers out there. I love you.